Hey, what's up everybody? This is Crystal Clear 101. The opening shots that you saw were filmed by a good buddy of mine. They were filmed by Rob from Bad Company 1911. I'm going to have a link to his channel in the description box below. And I am going to be reviewing the fully licensed H&K MP5K PDW by Umarex. Now, unlike previous Umarex products I reviewed before, this one is not an airsoft gun. In fact, this is actually a 4.5mm BB gun. This is a CO2 powered BB gun. Now, the following segments after this, I had help with another YouTuber, Dawnofthedeadhead, and I'll be having a link to his channel in the description box below as well. I advise checking him out as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and point out a few basics about this before I get to the actual review itself. Number one, the suggested retail on this is $99.99. Number two, this contains a 40-round magazine. Number three, this is CO2 powered. Number four, this is semi-automatic only. This will not go full automatic, nor can you make it go full automatic. So in case you were wondering, I figured I'd go ahead and get that out of the way. Number five, this has a muzzle velocity of 400 feet per second. Now that might sound low, but it's actually surprisingly powerful, as you'll see in a few clips coming up here shortly. But enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and get straight to the review itself. Alright, the first thing we're going to be covering on this MP5K is we're going to be covering some of the HK licensing markings. Okay, as you can see right here, there we go, it says HK MP5K Cal 177 4.5mm. And then right over here where the safety is, it clearly shows you that right here, when it's pointed down, is safe. When you flip it up to the red, it's fire. And now some more markings on this weapon, which is on the right hand side, towards the base of the stock, where it says licensed trademark of Heckler & Koch GmbH. Then it's got the warning telling you that this is not a toy. Why? Because some people are just flat out dumbasses like that. And then it's going to have your serial number. It's going to have the Pentagon with an F on it. But that right there is just your basic trademarks on those are your basic markings on the weapon itself. As you can see, it's actually got the accurate markings for the most part on this weapon, other than some ordnance markings on it. But as far as that goes, this actually does have some decent HK markings on it. And now we're going to go over some of the basic functions of this MP5. Now, like standard MP5s, whether they be real, whether they be airsoft, this performs functionally similar to an MP5. This does have the bolt hold open option right here. And as my friend will demonstrate, you can pull it back, you can ride it back, and you can do the patent HK slap if you want to. The safety is right here. It's ambidextrous. In other words, if you're shooting it, it doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed, you'll be able to pick it up, be able to shoot, but simply flips down like that. And right back here, it does have a extending stock on it. And when you do open the stock, it extends the overall length to it. And when the stock extended, it's about 21 inches overall length. And obviously with the stock collapse, the way you collapse the stock is you raise up the stock, then fold it to the side, as demonstrated. Then it makes the weapon overall much shorter. Now, a couple other points of interest is that the bolt, the sling mount right here, the magazine release, trigger, safety, and the base of the stock right here, these parts are all metal. Now, the rest of this, for the most part, is ABS plastic. The stock and the foregrip assembly right in here, they feel like they're a much sturdier material, like a heavier grade of plastic. But when this is up against your shoulder, this actually has a dead rock solid feel to it. This actually feels really good, really comfortable up against your shoulder. Another neat thing about this particular air gun is that this actually does have a built-in safety feature. Now, I don't know how well you can see it, but right next to the straw right here, this little silver piece I'm moving, that's actually a safety feature. Now, what it is when the magazine's out or when the magazine's loaded, that lever will be down and you'll be able to pull the trigger on this, as demonstrated by my friend right here. Now, when this same little piece is pushed up, indicating that the magazine is out of ammunition, you then cannot pull that trigger, as is demonstrated right here. Now, that serves as three purposes. Number one, that acts as a safety feature. Number two, that keeps you from wasting CO2 like you can do in other CO2 powered weapons. And number three, that's actually a great way to tell if your weapon is out of ammo. So that's actually a very, very nice little feature that Umarex put into this. That was actually a very nice thing of them to consider of. Now, something else I am going to go ahead and show with this MP5, like to do with any airgun review. I'm going to go ahead and show the sight picture. So you can see this uses the same sight picture as the MP5. It uses a notch, and it has a center post with a globe. But if you know how to aim the MP5 or similar weapons with similar sighting systems, then you'll be able to aim this particular one with absolutely no issues, as this is actually a very dead solid air gun, as I'll demonstrate in just a minute. As I stated earlier, this is a CO2 powered air gun, so I'm sure you might be wondering, well, where's the CO2 cartridge in this goes? Well, it goes right in the butt of the gun. And if you have a CO2 cartridge in it, what you do is you pull this little tab out, and you start twisting it counterclockwise, as he's demonstrating right here, until it comes to a complete total stop. Then once it comes to a complete total stop, this little pin right up here, you simply push it out and remove the pin, as my friend here is demonstrating. Then after that, you can then pull your stock down, and right in there is where the CO2 cartridge would go. Now, speaking of CO2 cartridge, I have one right here. Now, simply put it in like so, close the stock down, then you simply reinsert your pin so you can go ahead and lock it into place. Then you simply just start twisting it to the right, start twisting it clockwise. And you just twist it till it comes to a complete and total stop. Then once you're done with that, you're pretty much ready to go. Now that I've talked about the gun itself, let's go ahead and talk about the magazine. Now, next we have the magazine for this MP5. This is a 40-round magazine. And first off, this magazine is entirely made of plastic. Now, something I am going to point out is that you'll see there is a little guide right up here at the top of the magazine. What it is, now before I pull this tab all the way down, you'll notice there's a little piece of plastic sticking out to the side right here. Well, if you remember that safety feature I showed a little bit earlier, this is what pushes that little piece up, indicating that you're out of ammo. Because when this piece is up, you can clearly see it, you can clearly feel it. When it's down, you can see it just disappears. Now, to load it, first off, pull this little tab all the way down till you hear it click. And at that point, you will see this little pin stick right out. And once you have your BBs loaded in it, you push this little tab right here. This will automatically release this, ready to feed BBs to the weapon. Now, as far as loading the magazine goes, you'll notice that there is a little tab right here. Well, you have to push this little tab up, and this little piece right here will raise, which will allow you to put BBs in the magazine itself. Now, upon getting this out of the way, let's go ahead and shoot some targets with this, see what kind of accuracy, what kind of damage it does. Cans don't stand a chance against this thing. Alright, now that we've seen what this little thing can do to cans, let's see what it'll do to a glass bottle. That glass bottle didn't stand a chance, now did it? Now, let's see what it does with a soda bottle. Well, as you saw from the previous clips, this is easily a reasonably powerful little air gun. As you saw, it's anti-can, it is anti-glass bottle, it is anti-soda bottle. So without any real issues, this is actually a great little air gun, compact little air gun for pest control. But overall, what's my overall verdict, my opinion on this? For the $99.99 that this retails for, this is actually not a bad way to go. Not only is it a fairly powerful, a reasonably accurate air gun, but it's also, you gotta admit, a very stylish looking air gun. But if you can find this particular air gun, I would recommend getting it. Not only is it powerful, but it just looks flat out cool, you gotta admit that. But that's going to wrap up my review on the Umarex H&K MP5K PDW. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check out Bad Company 1911 and Dawn of the Deadhead.